Sonic's Green Hills Adventures Season 3 Chapter 10 Surprise. Sonic's point of view.
I was getting a bath ready for when Pretzel Mom came home. Is she here yet, Shadow? I asked as Shadow was being a lookout for Annette and her.
Yep, they're in the driveway right now.
Shadow replied hastily, then what's my kid to get in the tub and wait excitedly to see her reaction. Okay, can you bring her in? I asked hopefully.
Sure thing, bro. I'll be right back.
Shadow said as I heard him walking down the hallway. While I waited, I relaxed in the warm, bubbly water. It felt so good on my fur and now scales.
Maddie's point of view.
Once we stepped inside the house, Shadow ran over to me with an excited look on his face.
Mom, please come with me. Sonic has something to show you.
Shadow said as he grabbed my hand and started to pull me along. Alright, I'm coming, I said as I followed him to one of the bathrooms.
He's in here. Trust me, it's best that you see this for yourself.
Shadow said reassuringly. I simply nodded as I opened the door. The minute I saw the blue tail, I immediately shut the door behind me.
Sonic's point of view.
When I saw the big-eyed expression on Pretzel Mom's face, I giggled nervously. Hey, Pretzel Mom's surprise. This is what happened to us in Mako Island, but you can tell Annette, trust me on this. I explained confidently.
Okay, I won't tell her. Oh, your tail is amazing.
Pretzel Mom said in quiet excitement. Thanks, Pretzel Mom. Can you do me a favor? I forgot to put a towel within my reaching distance, I said in relief.
Sure thing, sweetie.
Pretzel Mom replied as she left to grab a towel. As she did that, I drained the tub. Then Pretzel Mom came back in, closing the door behind her.
Here you go, Sonic. So Shadow, Silver, and Marina can do this too.
Pretzel Mom asked as I began drying myself off. Yes, and there's more to tell you. Long Claw and Donut Dad. Let's meet at Mako. I'll call Louis to give you and Donut Dad a lift, if that's okay with you. I said as my tail faded away.
Ooh, that's incredible. I think that sounds fine.
Pretzel Mom said reassuringly. Great, let me just call Louis. I said as I went to grab my phone. Then I dialed Louis' number.
Hey Sonic, how did showing your secret to your family go?
Louis asked excitedly. Went well. However, I need to ask you a favor. Can you bring my parents to Mako? The four of us and Longclaw will meet you all there. Hopefully.
Sure thing, Sonic, meet me at the docks.
Louis said and hung up. Okay, he said to meet him at the docks, so follow us. I said as I put my phone away.
Great, I bet it's beautiful there.
Pretzel Mom said as the seven of us left Charlotta's house.
20 minutes later, they found Louis waiting on his motorboat.
Hey Louis, thanks for this.
Sonic said happily. Then Sonic leaned down to whisper in Louis' ear.
We'll meet you at the moon pool.
Sonic whispered happily.
Come on, Sonic, race you there.
Marina said, and they all jumped into the ocean, once they were sure no one would see them.
Alright, last one to the moon pool is a clamshell.
Sonic said right before swimming off at top speed.
Yeah. This is still so awesome.
Sonic said as Mako came into view. As they swam, Longclaw was following Louis' boat from the air. She saw the volcano and felt it calling to her.
Maybe that's where they want us to meet them.
Longclaw said as she flew over the top of it. Then she flew down and landed near the moon pool itself. That's when Sonic, Marina, Shadow, and Silver resurfaced.
Hey Longclaw, how did you get in here so fast?
Sonic asked as he pulled himself out of the water.
I flew in from the top.
Longclaw replied as gestured to the top of the volcano.
I should guess that?
Sonic said sheepishly as his hand was subconsciously a few inches from touching his tail. Suddenly, steam came from his tail.
No way. Guys, I know what my power is.
Sonic explained as his tail finished drying and his legs returned.
Well, that's the best one.
Marina said excitedly.
We'll be right back. I have a feeling Donut Dad, Pretzel Mom, and especially Annika will need help getting down into the other chamber of the cave.
Sonic said as he walked off. Sonic's point of view.
Once I was in the first chamber, I dashed through the opening that led to the waterfall. I had a feeling that I would need to help bring Annika down there safely. About 5 minutes later, I saw Louis, Donut Dad, and Pretzel Mom, who was holding Annika, walking over to me. Big Eye thought you would need me to bring Annika down more safely, right? I asked confidently.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea, Sonic.
Pretzel Mom said as she put Annika in my arms. Alright, Annika, hang on. I said happily right before entering the cave very carefully so Annika would stay safe. She was even giggling as I did this. Wanik, thanks for riding the SS Blue Bar. I said playfully as I nuzzled her lovingly.
Guys, look out below.
I heard Pretzel Mom scream and I quickly moved out of the way. Then Pretzel Mom stood back up and I handed Annika back to her. Then came Donut Dad and then Louis. Well guys, follow me and Louis, I said as the two of us took the lead. Once I was back in the moon pool chamber, I jumped back into the pool. Then I raised her face with my tail.
Who your tales are awesome, so what did you need to tell us in such a beautiful place?
Pretzel Mom asked excitedly.
Thanks, Mom. Well, we got some training from some mermaids we met.
Shadow announced confidently. Louis, is it okay if we tell them the rest? I asked quickly.
Sure, go ahead.
Louis replied reassuringly. They are Cleo, Emma, and Bella. They showed us the underwater entrance to this place. This is where we got these powers. Welcome to the moon pool, I added enthusiastically.
We can swim at incredible speeds, breathing and talk underwater, and we'll develop powers over water. In fact, Sonic just found his.
Silver explained happily as he gestured to me.
Really, that's amazing, and their secret is safe with us. So what's your power, Sonic?
Donut Dad asked, said in reaction. I can both things and I can drive faster, I said. I pulled myself out of the pool. Now observe, I said dramatically. Then I used my new power to steam dry my tail off.
Well, it will make things more convenient.
Donut Dad said happily as I got back in the moon pool. Then we all heard Annika giggling, so we looked at her. We saw her arms reach out to me. Shaggy! Annika said in between giggles. Then Pretzel Mom handed Annika to Shadow.
Here, Annika. You like our tails?
Shadow asked as he allowed her to touch his tail.
Alright.
Annika said as she put her hands on Shadow's tail with a look of wonder in her eyes. Oh, this is so cool, I said happily as I swam over to kiss Annika's forehead.
Well, we should head back.
Louis said seriously.
Right, let's go!
Silver said as Shadow gave Annika to Pretzel Mom. Race you, bro? I said and we left for the mainland.